I call William Bell-Purchas.
Kia ora, Mr. Speaker. For decades now, Aotearoa New Zealand has been struggling with systemic inequality. Today, I want to highlight the upsetting damage that inequality is causing in Aotearoa. It leads to disadvantages that add up in every area of life, and we are in need of bold action to address this. In my community, Mount Albert, the effects of inequality span from lower achievement in school and poorer mental health to children being hospitalised with RSV due to damp homes in which their parents can't afford the rent. I believe that everyone in Aotearoa must have the right to a safe, warm home, enough nutritious food, accessible physical and mental health care, and a high-quality education. People should be paid enough to live with dignity. Importantly, when people are in need of support, they should have access to it through a robust welfare system. The reality is, New Zealand is falling short. Many really hard-working Kiwis simply don't have the same opportunities as others, and I'm going to be clear, that is the result of decades of policy that has failed to respond to rising growth in inequality. This graph here shows how, since the 1980s, the incomes of the top 1% of earners have more than doubled, while the incomes of the bottom 10% of earners have grown by only a third. I ask you, Mr. Speaker, why are we letting our low and middle income earners fall so far behind? Tackling inequality will benefit everyone in Aotearoa, and action is needed on many fronts, since inequality affects all aspects of people's lives. It is especially evident in the intergenerational inequality whose results can be seen most among Māori, Pacifica, women and the rainbow community. We must look after our young people who don't get a say in policy, as they are the future of Aotearoa. It's fitting that here at Youth Parliament we acknowledge that the impacts of inequality often hit rangatahi and tamariki the hardest. But it's not all doom and gloom. The Prime Minister and this government have been doing some amazing work. For example, with the successful Healthy Lunches in Schools programme and the Fair Pay Agreements Bill. But there's so much more to do. A good start has been made to increasing benefit levels, but if we followed more of the recommendations of the Welfare Expert Advisory Group, we could improve the lives of so many. We could move further towards paying our workers a living wage, which is the bare minimum needed for anyone to live with dignity. We could make university free, removing barriers for young people from every background. My message today is that if we are open to making some bold and courageous policy changes, we can address systemic inequality in Aotearoa. Because ultimately, this shouldn't be a debate about whether we need to tackle inequality, but how to tackle it most effectively. Thank you.
I call Karina Dunlop.